Hi, I'm Tom Dodson, the Education Librarian for SOU. In this video, I'm going to show you how to search the ProQuest 1 education database for journal articles and other kinds of sources. This is the database I recommend for starting your research in the field of education. ProQuest 1 Education covers topics such as education philosophy, educational leadership, curriculum planning, and effective teaching. In a single user-friendly interface, you can search and browse thousands of scholarly journals, books, videos, reports, dissertations, news articles, and more. This database also provides access to all existing content in the ERIC database. First, I want to show you how to find ProQuest 1 Education. You'll probably start at the Hannon Library website. You can go to the site directly using the URL hanlib.sou.edu. You can also get there from inside SOU.edu. In that case, you'll scroll down to the quick links and select Hannon Library. Once you're on the Hannon Library website, you've got two paths to ProQuest 1 Education. First, you can use the Research Guide for Education. This is a set of curated resources the library has put together for folks doing research in education. Just below the Begin Research in Your Subject Area heading is a drop-down menu labeled Choose a Research Guide for Your Subject. Click the drop-down and scroll to Education and select it. Like most of our research guides, this one features a list of links to recommended databases at the top left. The first database in this set is ProQuest 1 Education. If you haven't already authenticated with Okta, you may be prompted to log in before gaining access to this database. I'm already logged in, so it takes me right there. Another way to reach the database from the Hannon Library website is to click the Databases by Title button that's just beneath the drop-down we used earlier. This will take you to the A to Z list of databases that the library subscribes to. You can then select P for ProQuest 1 Education, scroll down, and select it. Now that we've got access to the database, let's take a look at what it has to offer. Following the link to ProQuest 1 Education takes me to the Advanced Search screen. First, I'm going to demonstrate a keyword search. Let's say I'm interested in transformative learning. I'm going to enter that into the search box. I've put transformative learning in quotation marks. By doing that, I'm saying that I'm searching for these words as a phrase, not individually. To put it another way, I'm telling the database that I only want instances of these two words when there are no other words between them. Okay, let's execute our search by clicking the Search button. I can see here that we got over 9,000 results. That's going to be way too much for me to sort through. I should probably modify my search to make it more specific. The ProQuest 1 Education database has an AI that's trying to help me with my search, and just below the search box, it suggests some search terms I could use and by adding them to transformative learning to narrow my search. None of these terms are quite right, so I'm going to change the search myself by clicking the Modify Search link here. What I'm really interested in is how effective this approach to learning is in practice. I'm going to add a term to my search, instructional effectiveness. I've joined these two terms with the AND operator. That will narrow my topic because for this search, the database will only return items that have both phrases. If I change this to OR, this search would return items that had either term, resulting in a larger number of results than even my initial search. So I'm going to stick with AND. That's what I want because I already got several thousand results with my first search and I'm trying to narrow my topic, not broaden it. I'm going to click the Search button. This search considerably narrowed my results down to 179. This seems like a much more manageable number of items. If I wanted to limit my results even further, I could select scholarly journals here under source type. In other words, I'm not interested right now in books, dissertations, reports, or anything like that. I could limit this further to peer-reviewed scholarly journals by selecting the peer-reviewed box. Now my results are at 139. Let's say that, for now at least, I'm only interested in peer-reviewed scholarly articles from the last 5 years. I can adjust the publication date slider here to reflect that. So I'm going to move this to 2020 to 2025 and click Update. My results are down from 41 from where we started with over 9,000. Next, we'll take a closer look at some of the articles we've found. As I look through my list of results, this article looks especially promising, New Developments in Transformative Learning. I'm going to click on the title to go to the full item record. Here we have an abstract describing the research, as well as other information such as the author, information about the journal it was published in, and so on. We also have a list of subject terms, here labeled Eric Subject. These terms are drawn from a predefined list of standardized terms. This helps gather similar items together. You can think of it as like a tag or a label assigned by a person rather than just a word or phrase that happens to appear in the title of the abstract. We'll come back to this later. One feature I'd like to point out now is the Cite button here at the top right. This produces a citation for the article in the style that you choose from the dropdown. You can then click the Copy button and paste the citation into a document. This can save you a lot of time as you're putting together the reference list for your project. Just be aware that these citations are generated by algorithms. You will need to check them yourself for accuracy and proper formatting. I suggest copying citations as you go. It's easy to delete them later if you find that you don't need them. Let's say after reviewing the abstract, we've decided we want to read the article. There is a box at the top right that says Check SOU. This will allow us to see what sources the library has that may have access to the full text. I'm going to click it now and it will take me to the library catalog. Here I see that to view the article, the full text of the article online, we have it from Wiley and from Education Full Text. I also see a heading, Get it from other locations. If we were not able to provide access to the full text, you could click the Get It button down here, and that would put in an interlibrary loan request. This means Hannon Library will get an electronic copy of the article from another library and send it to you, usually within a day or two. But in this case, we do have access to the full text. I'm going to select Wiley. I see that the full text of the article is here as HTML on the page. Also here at the top, there is a PDF icon and button that I can use to access the PDF of the article. Let's go back now to ProQuest and actually go further back to our results. Sometimes you can get access to the full text of an article directly from within the database. Here we see the first item on our list has the Check SOU button, which we demonstrated earlier. The second has a Get Full Text button with an icon of a link. But here in number 5, it simply says Full Text PDF. I'm going to click on the title of that item. Here you can see when I click on Full Text PDF, the PDF of the article is available right away for download or printing. You'll notice something else too. Since the database's AI has access to the full text, it has created a summary of the article at the right. It's important to note that whereas the abstract is a summary of the article provided by the authors, the summary under this heading Research Assistant has been generated by an AI. AIs are subject to hallucinations, and they may confidently make statements that are simply not true. Even the database itself contains a disclaimer and a warning that the quality of AI-generated content may vary. So be cautious about relying on summaries like this and always check them for accuracy. Now, to wrap up, I'd like to talk briefly about searching specific fields and subject terms. One of the advantages of a database like this over Google and Google Scholar is that it allows you to make your searches more precise by targeting specific fields. This is our original search for the keyword phrase transformative learning. The default fields that we're searching are anywhere except full text. That makes sense because I'm probably interested in articles that mention my keyword phrase in the title or the abstract or somewhere like that. If I search the full text of articles as well, I may get a bunch of articles that only mention transformative learning once or twice in the full text, but aren't really about that topic. If I wanted to search more precisely, I could only search the abstract field, or I could choose to only search the titles of articles. Let's try a different search entirely. I'm going to use the author field and only search that field in the records. I've been reading a book lately by James M. Lang, so why don't I try searching for him, starting with his last name first. Lang, James M. I'm going to now click the search button. What I get back is a listing of all the articles and other works that the database knows about, authored by James Lang. It looks like, if I wanted to learn more about his ideas, I could read some of the many pieces he's written for the Chronicle of Higher Education. Finally, I want to show you a couple of searches that take advantage of the subject terms I mentioned earlier. These are terms assigned by humans and using a predefined list of standardized terms. Let's say I've just read Paul Honsted's Creating Wicked Students and want to apply its ideas in my own teaching. Honsted encourages educators to present students with wicked problems, complex, open-ended challenges that resist straightforward solutions. I'm going to do a keyword search for the phrase wicked problems. But actually, I'm going to first put it in quotation marks so that it searches it as a keyword phrase. Also, I'm going to delete the S and put in an asterisk so that I get both wicked problem and wicked problems. Go ahead and execute that search. I got 636 results, which is more than I want to deal with. So I want to find another term I can combine with wicked problems to narrow my results. So I'm going to scroll down, and here are a list of the subject terms. If I open this accordion menu, a list of the subject terms associated with the articles that were returned from my search. So I'm going to click More to get the full list. And notice that these are sorted in order of how often they appear in articles in my search results. So I'm really interested in how to teach wicked problems as a method. So I'm going to choose Teaching Methods. And this is like combining a subject term with a keyword term using AND. I'm going to click Apply. I now have 122 results, which should all be about how to approach teaching wicked problems. Let's look at one of the records that came back from our search. In the Details section, with the heading Eric Subject, we find a list of other subject terms that were associated with this article, including Teaching Methods, the one we were searching for. Maybe after reviewing some of these terms, I decide that what I'm most interested in is the way in which an interdisciplinary approach is used to teach wicked problems. So one thing I can do is start a new search using that subject term. So I'm going to go back to my results and then back to the main search. Modify my search. Interdisciplinary approach. I'm going to put that in quotes. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm searching for this as a subject term, and I'm going to select here from the drop-down main subject. I want a human being to have looked at this article and said, yes, this is about an interdisciplinary approach. So I've got that. Let's just see what comes up when I search that. Okay, I got 37,500 some results, so really way too much. But I am narrowly interested in this as it applies to wicked subjects. Sorry, wicked problems. So I'm going to go back to my search, and using "and," I'm going to combine the keyword that I used to start my first search and see what I get. I got, in this case, 53 results, very manageable for me to pursue my interest in wicked problems and interdisciplinary approaches to them. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video about the ProQuest 1 education database. As I said at the top of the video, I'm Tom Dodson, the librarian for education here at SOU. You can find my contact information on the Education Research Guide at liveguide.sou.edu/education. I hope you'll reach out if I can be of any help with your research.